guys. Welcome to Grit, where we are all things beach volleyball. I'm Victoria Dennis alongside Meg Burgdorf. And don't we have a special duo here joining us at Grit today? Olympic hopefuls for Paris 2024, Taryn Kloth and Kristen Nuss. Welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for pronouncing my name correctly. I really appreciate it.
No, seriously, thanks for having us.
Yeah. Well, we're dying to get into the nitty-gritty of it all. And it all started back kind of in COVID, post-college, and there was a lot of advice saying pick partners with points, for this Olympic run. Tell us that story.
Oh my goodness. The amount of people that were like, you should play with someone else or just go get someone that has more experience, has more points. And for some reason, I was just like, no, it's going to work out. Taryn, we're staying together. It's going to work out in the end.
She's the most stubborn person I've ever met in my whole life. So if she has her mind set on something, nobody will change it. It doesn't matter if 5 ex-Olympians come and tell you to do something differently. You are dead set and you are going to make it work.
But with that being said, so COVID, it was kind of what kept us together because she could have been playing indoor overseas. But COVID happened, she came back, and she actually was going to go play with someone else because it got to the point where we were like, no, we can't get into these tournaments. We have 0 points. And she was going to go to Australia, play with someone else. I literally had to go into her room and be like, Taryn, go. Go do it. And
then she walks back into her room and she's like crying.
I know, I'm like, oh gosh. But yeah, it turned out COVID, that person couldn't go, so she put my name instead. We were dead last in the tournament, in the qualifier, and then we went on to win, and ever since then, just kind of took off. But it was meant to be. It was just a wild journey, and so glad we stuck together.
But getting there, it was months and months and weeks and countless people that really knew what they were doing and had so much experience in beach volleyball world, and we obviously hadn't. And they were all telling us the same exact thing. So at some point, I was looking at Kristen, I was like, are we doing something wrong? Are we really messing all of this up for ourselves? I remember one very important person told us, we have to split up. He was like, you are losing out on chances. And I just remember I was in the middle of my lift and I sat down on the bench and I felt like I went through a breakup. And I was just sitting there. I was like, Kristen, we're breaking up.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's a lot of external pressure, especially because you had the LSU connection. You played together and had an outstanding career representing the Tigers down there in Louisiana. But what tournament or what turning point, what practice maybe were you like, okay, this was the right decision?
We happen to have the same exact one. To play professionally together?
Or just to stick together. Weren't breaking up, we're doing it. We're going to play in the qualifier and be dead last with 0 points.
I want to know about Franklin.
The Franklin was the time. So I was going back and forth of should I play beach or should I go play professionally indoor? And I had to kind of figure out my options. It was a ticking time bomb, and it was just driving me crazy that I had no idea what I wanted to do. And we went and played this tournament in Franklin, Tennessee.
It was at Hayden Beach.
Oh my gosh, I've played there. It's a cool little place, right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Franklin is so cool.
Yes.
It's so cute.
Yes.
Very quaint. And we were both, I think that was the tournament for both of us that we were like, wow, we could play professional beach volleyball.
But we didn't at the time, it was just both of us internally were like, whoa. And it wasn't until we were doing an interview, I think it was even months later. And it was someone asked what was the turning point? And I was like, oh, the Franklin tournament. And she was like, wait a minute. That was mine too. It's like, whoa, that was weird.
Yeah.
I love it. So you kind of talked a little bit about the transition from indoor to beach. So I want to hear a little bit more about that because I know there's still a lot of girls out there doing the hybrid athlete, which way do I go?
Yeah.
And then also maybe if you can focus on post-college, that big transition into the, pro scene. What helped you?
Yeah. I mean, she saw me my first day at the beach. It was January of 2019. I strolled into LSU and I talked to the coaches before. I said, I know nothing. I have never played. Other schools were asking me for film, and I was like, it's like negative 50 here. Like, we don't even have a sand volleyball court. I don't know what you want me to do. But yeah, they took a chance on me, and I was so frustrated every single day. I left practice so angry because I wanted to be so much better. You go from playing at a very high level, you're very comfortable on the court. You kind of, I mean, you have years of experience, and then you jump into the deep end of a pool that has just like seaweed pulling you down. But yeah, it is so hard. It was the most frustrating thing. I can't even count the amount of times that I called my mom after practice. I was like, I am so horrible. And she's like, no, you're not. And she was always very encouraging. And I was like, no, I'm not even joking. I am horrible. I'm hitting the ball on the bottom of the net. I can't pass. I can't set. I can't block. I can't do anything. I mean,
so what's the biggest difference then from indoor skills to beach skills? Like, what helped you? What skills were the hardest to be like, oh, that's the difference?
What helped me was doing it with other indoor, well, people that were transferring from indoor to beach.
Nice.
Having a community of like, wow, we all suck together.
I think it is
was really nice.
A lot of, especially, I mean, she was like an elite indoor volleyball player. To then come over to a sport that you think like, it obviously shares similarities, but it is very different to then just be like, I'm sorry, like bad. Like that like is very hard mentally. Yeah. I feel like to like take on, because again, she was elite in indoor volleyball. Like could have gone overseas, like was playing with Team USA, like elite. To then again just come and be bad. Like, and the fact that she like stuck with it and like kept coming back, I feel like that is like such a credit to her and like her work ethic
that's
and
your
just
secret
mentality.
Sauce now.
Yeah. Like, so it is, I do encourage like all other like indoor players, like stick with it. Like it is going to be very challenging. And especially when you think like, oh, you see these other girls who are like, you think you're better than them, but you're just not performing well just because it's so new and it is different. Like they are different sports.
Very.
But yeah,
I'm just
good
like
job.
having flashbacks of like, oh my gosh.
It's like cringe.
Yes, and then I go back and watch film. I'm like, oh, why did you play with me?
Which is my question. Why did you pick Taryn? Or did you? Or did the coach set that up?
Question.
How did that all go down? Because you were a Tiger before.
Yeah, I had played. I played all my 3.5 years before COVID with someone else. And actually, it was during COVID that she called me because she was in South Dakota. It was freezing.
How did I have the guts to do that? I don't know.
See, I never looked at it like that.
Shoot or shoot.
Yeah,
right? Take your shot.
I did with like the best defender in the world. Okay, anyway, keep going.
No, but she called me during COVID and was like, "Hey, can I like come to Louisiana train?" It was like summertime, so it was like warm and everything in Louisiana. And I was like, yeah, I mean, shoot, I'm just like sitting on the couch, not doing anything. Like, please come down. And we just started training. And then that's when kind of things opened up a little bit. So we got to go play in tournaments. And it was just like, oh, wow, this is really fun. Like, we were having fun, like, on the court. And we were just, like, having fun off the court. So I was like, this is awesome. Like, let's just keep going. And then that's when it came into LSU season. And the coaches kept us together. And then from there, we just kind of ran with it and played our first AVP right after college, AVP Atlanta. Went through the qualifier and then somehow won the whole thing. That was wild. And then we were just like, yeah, we're doing this.
So
yeah.
I just wanted to qualify. I was like, qualified.
I think it was right towards the end of LSU season, that COVID year is when we were like, no, like we want to do a professional career together. And it was like Paris 2024, like that was our goal. Like from the beginning, it was like, this is the goal we're out to achieve. And even when it was like splitting up and stuff, like when we did have to kind of reach out to other people, we were like, hey, like we were upfront. We were
very, very honest.
We were like, hey, like would love to play with you in this tournament, but just know that like I am going to go back to Taryn after we get some points. So we were like very upfront about it.
Which is why nobody,
I know.
Yeah.
Kind of, I don't know, could have been a bad thing, but it ended up all working out.
It's amazing. It's such a good story. And like, I'm really curious. Okay, you spent 4 years, 3.5 because of COVID, training in like a very professional, supportive environment at LSU. And then you're detached into COVID. So what's that like, or what's some advice you'd give to other athletes, graduating, or right now they're playing their last season in college going, ooh, AVP's calendar, undecided, Olympic year. Like, what do I do? What's my takeaways? How do I approach that?
Man, it's a risk, and you have to be okay with failing, and you have to be okay with not doing well at the beginning and spending money and investing in yourself and your dream. I would say those are like top priority that you have to do. Like there's no other way around that. And then the other thing I always say is you want to find somebody and work with them, because I always say there's no way I would be able to do this by myself. This journey, getting up for weights and going to training and traveling, and if I had to do this by myself, I would have been done 2 years ago. Like there's no way. But when you have a buddy, it makes it so much more fun.
I would definitely try and find like an accountability person. It doesn't even have to be someone that you're like gonna go play with. Like maybe like I'm a defender, maybe it's another defender, and it is just someone who's gonna like, no, we're gonna go to the gym every day. Like there are days when I don't want to go, and she's like, oh, let's go. I'm like, all right, here we go. So I would definitely find someone to even just get training, get touches with, because yes, you can go out by yourself, but it is definitely more beneficial to with someone.
Also, we're all so competitive. Like if she's doing something, I'm gonna do it. If she's doing something, I want to be better. I
love it. Yeah. So pivoting a little bit, so you went through the qualifier, right, in Atlanta, and then won it. So now you have your AVP journey, but now you also have your world tour journey. You went from being the who's this team from Louisiana playing in this qualifier, where did they come from, like what's going on, who are these athletes? But now you kind of have a target on your back a little bit. Do you feel that? Don't let me put words in your mouth. What is the overall feeling now coming into tournaments? Has it changed in the last 6 months?
Well, really quick to starting that tournament, we went to Australia. It was our first tournament, April of 2022. This guy, like the lead that was having us sign in for our jerseys, we were like, we don't know what we're doing. Can you help us? He's like, what are you talking about? You don't know what you're doing. We were like, this is our first tournament. And he was really nice and helped us through. And then we get to World Tour Finals. And
this
he was
past
like,
year in Doha.
Yeah, he was like, do you remember me? And I was like, yes, you helped us sign in.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
So
So it was like a full circle moment. Anyway, you can answer that.
Wait, what was the question again?
Just the feeling within the last 6 months, because it's like, who are these athletes in the qualifier? Where did they come from? Okay, they're winning a few volleyball games here and there, right? Or more. And, the energy shifts now against your opponent on the world tour. So what's that mindset? Do you feel that shift? Don't let me put, words in your mouth. Is the mindset different now in the next 6 months?
I feel like I've always looked at it as like we're the underdog, and even though it has kind of flipped, like it is kind of wild saying like, whoa, we're the number 2 team in the world. Like what?
Amazing.
But I think still going into matches and tournaments, I do take it as like we're going, no one's expecting us to win. And I think that has always just been the way we've done things, and especially just me, like throughout my whole career and in sports in general, it is just like, no, I want to be the underdog. And I feel like that has helped us just perform like, no, there's no pressure. Like we're not expected to win. Like, so that I do like the underdog mentality. So I don't think that has really changed over the past couple of years.
That's awesome. Has that always been the mentality of your career specifically? You can chime in on this
I
as well.
feel pressure. I feel stressed. Apparently it's just me, but I'll take it. I don't know.
It's the yin and the yang, right? You got it going
really,
on.
I can't even express how yin and yang we are. It is
It is kind of, there's so many similarities though too, but there are definitely some dissimilarities.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But that's fair. That makes a great partnership,
Yeah.
right? And it's very in sync now. And now heading into 2024, we can touch on a couple of the tournaments coming up and just kind of what that looks like for Team TKN.
Man, what does that look like, Taryn?
What does our tournament schedule
Yeah.
look like? Oh my gosh. Well, at least we don't have to start in January this year. We don't start until March. We are headed off to Doha, which was a very fun time last time we were there in December. And then Tepic, Mexico, I believe, are our first 2. So that'll put us through the first quarter of the year. And then it'll probably take off from there. But lots of training right now. We actually took a month off, which Do you remember the last time you took a month off?
No.
Me neither. It's really not fun to get back into the gym. Like you forget how to walk, and then you don't know how to pass. And then I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I am just starting beach volleyball.
Especially in Hermosa.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so deep.
But I think it was so needed for us. I mean, last year it was a complete grind. I think she did her flighty app, and it was 2 weeks we were up in the air. We went to so many different tournaments, and it was awesome, like seeing the world and traveling. But I mean, that does take a toll. It's mentally very challenging to be engaged all the time, and then you're in these situations where you're like, oh my gosh, I am in a foreign country. Like, what I need to protect myself. I don't know where I am, and I mean, you have to be on guard all the time. So
that did kind of spark as far as like something I would like tell people, especially like younger people who are just starting the international side, is like, you do need to take time to like mentally like decompress, because it is just wild, like flying, all the flights, being in country to country. Like, yes, we did take a month off, and it was definitely needed, as hard as it was to just like not be in the sand. Like, it was like, oh, I feel like I need to be doing something. But just like the mental side from kind of college to professional side of things, like, I think that was the biggest thing for me, and something that I didn't fully expect going to the professional side of things. But yeah, taking some time off is needed. And I feel like that is very hard for athletes to do, but so needed.
So I'm sure it's not really fully taking it off, but you're still in the gym doing recovery.
Just a little less. I think in the month I went to like the gym like once a week, and that is definitely. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I was still No, she probably went more.
Winner.
See, that's always the thing. It's like, I know Kristen's at the gym, so I'm like, I'm going to the gym.
I just found other activities that were in the gym. It was still being active, but it was just not, oh my goodness, volleyball.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about planning for the whole Olympics, and like what, even just having the conversation with your coaching staff, sitting down, looking at month to month, tapering, when are you guys heading over? Like, what does that look like?
That is a great question.
Or you can
It's a great question.
Because it is
We've
like
had the same coach. I don't mean to interrupt, but we want to shout him out. I mean, tell his story, elevator pitch, or
Drew Hamilton.
He needs more than elevator pitch.
Yeah.
But
No,
really
we asked him
is.
to come on the show, but
I know.
Drew, next time.
brilliant.
No,
absolutely.
We would
brilliant.
not be on this journey. I mean, for sure, he's like the only coach that I've ever known. He's taught me everything that I know. So I am so thankful for him. Would not be here without him. So yeah, Drew Hamilton, he's the best. I hope no one takes him.
Nobody can have him.
Never mind, he's terrible. But no, I think even in Drew, like, he's never been on this journey to the Olympics. So we're all kind of like, what should our schedule be? Like, we are reaching out to some people, just like hopefully giving us some guidance, some insight. But yeah, so as far as like, what is our schedule? It really is like, we don't even know.
Everything is so up in the air. We could plan something, and then it gets scrapped, and then 2 days later it's like, oh, we booked a flight, and my mom's like, what just happened? I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna update you at the end of the year, and that's when I will tell you what we're doing, because we have no idea. We don't even know where we're gonna be in the next month, which is awesome, but it's also very frustrating for the planning process.
And in terms of just like planning with Team USA's guidance and help, and your experience of talking with other athletes on the same journey, because that's probably the tiniest population that's most similar to you guys. Like, what's it like? What's different? What's better? How is the world organizing, for the Olympic run?
I think a lot of it is like what we've gotten is just listening to your body. Like, hey.
Oh,
good job.
As far as like, all right, this week of training, it felt really well. So yeah, maybe we do go play in this tournament right now. Or we do kind of have that luxury of being like, oh, like this week it wasn't very great, or like my shoulder's kind of hurting a little bit. So like, we don't have to go play in this tournament. And I think that was very important as to the success we had last year, that it has put us in this position to be very flexible and just kind of like have a lot of leeway of like, oh no, we don't have to really go play in this tournament. Whereas the guys side, like, they all have to go play in just about like every single tournament, which is kind of crazy. Like, thinking about that, I'm like, oh my
chase
goodness.
Is on.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
So we get to like kind of plan it a little more and can go into Paris probably a little more fresh than the guys' side, which is exciting. But yeah, basically what we've gotten is just listen to your body and figure it out from there.
Yeah, no two roads are going to be the same. So, yeah, we are new to this, but every single year is going to be a different road for a different team, and you never know what's going to come up.
Big time. So, given that you've now had a few reps at a couple different tournaments on the World Tour, you've seen the same teams a number of times. With that being said, is there like a friendly rivalry? Do you have a team that you're always like excited to play, or you're like, we want to beat these guys? Just what team on the World Tour is your rival?
I've said this before. I don't know if it's actually a rivalry because we have yet to beat them.
Duda and Anna Patricia.
Duda and Anna Patricia. I mean, they're just very, very good at their job. And I think that's always one way we go into it and we're like, oh, here we go. But yeah, again, I don't know if you can necessarily call it a rivalry when we have not beaten them.
We keep losing.
But that's true.
So,
And it's interesting because you went on the World University Championships. They went through the Youth Olympic pathway in the World Championships for age groups. Do you think that experience helped kind of pave the way and the appetite for the Olympic run?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was just one, I feel like I was such a baby during that time. That seems so long ago, but it was kind of like that little taste of the international side of things. Like, that was just so wild to me. And yeah, that whole experience definitely helped. And I don't even know, it did give me like a little taste of like, oh, this is kind of what it could be like. So yeah, I would definitely say a little bit.
Nice. I want to go back to coaching in the box because domestically you have a coach here on the ABP. Internationally, they don't have that. So what's that experience like? When do you like it? Not so like it? Would you like it on the World Tour?
Honestly, I feel like Drew is probably different than most other coaches. So there are times when he is in our box and we don't even talk about volleyball. Like a big thing that happened, I think our first year on the AVP when he was in the box, we talked about Ted Lasso all the time.
Before every game, after every game, it was like, oh, you remember that part in Ted Lasso? And I was like,
because we would watch it, we all watched it together and it did kind of help. Yeah, exactly. So we weren't even talking about volleyball. So could that be beneficial sometimes on the world stage? Maybe yes, just to like take our minds off of things. But
it really makes you depend on the other person a lot more when you have no one else and you know that it's just you two. We work with a sports psych, and there were a couple times where like I had just fallen apart and I had lost the game. And I talked to him and I was like, I felt like I was on that court all by myself. And Kristen's like, I was trying to talk to you and you wouldn't let me in. And so we have had to work through those like little pieces. When there's only two people on a team and you feel like you're isolated, that is no longer a team sport, and it is a team sport, but you make it an individual sport. So I think that was like a really big thing. But now I feel like, I mean, you're like a coach too, I would say. I would still say that I am new to the sport, so I do learn a lot from you all the time, like every single day. And I think it's just little things that she knows, or they are just so ingrained in you that to me it's still new. And I'm like, oh, I learned another thing today.
But it's really cool that you have that relationship to be able to lean on each other, especially in vulnerable moments. Kind of pivoting from that, we always get asked how tall we are. 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
Okay. But my friend, you're in the land of giants out here in the sandbox. Yeah. So I know people ask all the time, and it's so annoying because we get it all the time as well. But on the other side, you play with like such fun swag. It's like so sick. If I am blessed to have a daughter one day, like I want them to play with the swag that you have.
It's like the most confident but not cocky.
Yes. Yes.
It's very calculated and smart.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, let's just keep hyping her up.
Yeah, no. Not to like make your ego any bigger, but
No, thank you. And speaking of Land of the Giants, I've never felt more short when I get in elevators at international tournaments.
That's funny.
With the
Oh
guys.
my
With
gosh,
the guys,
guys.
And we're all, I'm talking eye level, and
Right.
I'm looking up sometimes, and I'm having a great time, and then Kristen's like, this sucks, I can't even hear.
Like, I'm like, wow, I feel really petite right now.
Yes.
Right? I'm like, this
It's
is
nice to feel small.
No, but there's so many times that like a conversation is happening up here.
Hey, let me
And
in,
I'm
let
like,
me in.
Taryn, we get out and I'm like, Taryn, what just happened? Like, I couldn't hear anything because it was so high.
Same, but different. In society, I'm like, what the heck are they saying? I can't hear it.
Yes. I did actually, like, at practice, I was like leaning down to like hear her, and then I noticed that I was doing that. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
But has that ever been a factor? Like, have you never paid attention to it? I mean, what was that journey like in volleyball for you?
I definitely feel like I always like people look across the net and be like, oh yeah, we're definitely serving her. And I feel like that is always something I've like had a chip on my shoulder of like, oh no, I'm gonna make you regret that. But I think it's just the way, going back to Drew, like he has taught me how to play the game, and I have to do it in a very specific way to be successful. So I give all credit to him as far as him teaching me, but it is kind of fun again to go in with that little chip on your shoulder of like, oh no, I'm gonna make you regret that.
Any advice to the girls out there that say, if she can do it, I can do it?
I would say go out and work on serve receive. Make sure you can pass a good ball. That would, because if you can't, it's going to be very hard to score. But yeah, all those youngins out there who are 5'6" and below, start working on this.
Just some dimes here and there. Throw them up.
Yes, exactly.
I know we have just a few minutes kind of
Yeah.
left here, and I have a whole list of things. So very quickly, best fans out there.
Oh, Switzerland.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
nice.
shot.
Yeah.
Shot.
So fun.
Shots were-
Yes.
They had like choreographed hand motions.
Yes. All
the same.
It
Yes.
was honestly.
I was watching it, and I was like,
It's
oh,
so fun.
I have to play.
I was there in 2019. It was like the coolest environment ever.
Oh wait, Mexico, Tlaxcala.
I was going to say, that was my challenge
Oh.
question. I'm like, ooh, maybe.
Oh.
Okay, best place to play, though. Was it the surrounding arena of Tlaxcala?
That is so hard. The
'Cause I
bull rings
also-
were really cool, but yeah,
how do
Stad-
you beat
super
the
fan.
Swiss Alps? Yeah, like how do you? Yeah, my dad. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday.
Oh my goodness. So actually, I'll change. I'm gonna go fans. I'm gonna go Tlaxcala.
Okay.
Place
Switzerland.
Love it.
Fair. Duly noted. And you're
Anything else on your list? I was
No,
so
but you
full
have a
of things.
YouTube channel also.
Yes,
We
we do.
do.
Well,
We have a
Kristen,
web-
Kristen vlogs. I
know.
do B-roll.
Yeah, don't judge my
We
editing
love some
skills.
good B-roll.
That was it's always like every single time I video, I'm like B-roll, B-roll.
Yeah, I still have to edit that one, and I will definitely put that every single time you say that. But no, we do. We have like a website and everything, and we do have a YouTube channel.
And
we
a
also,
shop.
yeah, we do have a
Some merch.
TKN store.
Okay, we're in
Yeah.
some right now.
Yes. Hopefully there will be some fun new things coming out. But yeah,
I think all
go-
of that helped with our commitment at the beginning, where it was like, we're doing this together, we're creating TKN, we are in it for the long haul. Yeah,
Fun.
TKN everything,
Yeah.
I guess.
No?
Yeah. Sweet. So make sure to subscribe to TKN.
Yeah.
It's just that on YouTube, right?
TKN B-Ball.
Yeah.
TKN V-Ball on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, just smash that notifications button while you're at it as well.
Yes.
And then, as you can tell, you're already here on Grit. Go ahead and smash that notification button for Grit.
Yes.
Subscribe, all that fun stuff. Well, guys, until next time, till we see ya wherever in the world, whatever continent we may be on next.
Seriously.
Yeah, go Team USA, right?
All the way.
All the way.
Best 3 letters.
Best 3 letters. Go Team USA. Until next time, for Make Burgdorf, I'm Victoria Dennis here at Grit. Keep it sandy and gritty.
Boom, boom, make that